Okay, we got the eyes in, we got basically the bird all mounted, and now we're gonna have to pose it, which can be, I would say, one of the important part of the taxidermy, especially when it comes to bird taxidermy, is posing, because you can do all the good stuff inside the bird. You can buy the most expensive eyes, and you can do the best job in carving the bird and everything, but if posing is not there, then you don't have anything. And it is very important, very important. So, and don't be shy about moving around the bird, and don't you think that you know when you have it in one shape, it has to stay that way because it looked right at the beginning. I sometimes I change positions a lot. Like, I do a lot of work on them, and then I step back and I don't like it. I go and change the whole thing and start all over again. Just don't be shy about doing those changes. With your skin being loose on the body, we're going to keep continuing taxing the skin to where we want them to be, where we think they're supposed to be. One of the toughest thing in posing a bird, especially in flight or even in standing, is that you are bending a wire inside of the skin. You cannot see exactly where you're bending. You're basically feeling it, and you don't see the bones of the wing right now. So if one of them is bent a little bit more than the other one, you might not be able to see it that well because all the feathers outside are misleading your vision. So it is important to figure out methods for yourself to know that where each part of the wing or how much they need to be bent, so we don't lose the natural shape, or at least you're in perfect symmetric situation if you want it to be symmetric. Yeah, that is one of the most challenging part of the bird taxidermy, as I said, bending things and moving body parts while you cannot see what you're doing exactly. This bird didn't have good tail feathers, so two of the deck feathers in the middle was missing. They were broken off, so we're gonna have to do something about it. Right now I'm trying to figure out where I know exactly the position that I want. I'm trying to figure out how these wing basically bones need to be bent in symmetric shape. So now this is the tape that everybody's asking. Guys, this is just painter's tape. It's nothing special. I just laminated a piece of basically fine wire on a cardboard, and I'm using the tape to just barely hold the feathers for the next 10 minutes for me. And that wire that I've laminated in the cardboard helps me to shape the wing feathers if they need to be bent up, bent down. So this is the best basically way that I have found that is creating the best wing position. If you want to do a quick job of just spreading the wing like a dead bird with wings open, then you can cheat your way around and just push a wire into the body and just have the wing being held out. But that's not a flying bird needs to look like. A flying bird has a lot of anatomy into it, and if you do not apply it, as I said, your bird is going to look like a dead bird with wings stretched. So the wing anatomy means separation of the feathers is critical. It really bothers me when I see some bird mounts have been done so clean, so nice, But this wing to the other wing, the primaries separation is all off. Or even in the same wing, the first and the second and the third, they don't have the separation in a constant amount. They all, like, the first and second primaries are like an inch apart, and from the third primaries on, they're almost touching one another. It's just like totally wrong. And the bird is so clean and so nice. Just a little bit more needed to be done to make it in a lot better. So right now what you see I'm doing, I have another piece of cardboard underneath the wing, so I'm pinning it. So I use that little bit of an edge of the tape to just hold itself on the wing feathers before I laminate the other part of the cardboard underneath and pin it, because I don't like a lot of tape residue sometimes sticking on the feather when I remove them after a couple of weeks. So you see here, unfortunately I had my camera off and I didn't know it. It happens quite a bit. I inserted two tail feathers right in the middle that they're red, and it's just because I had them handy. I basically implanted them right into the feather quills of the centerpiece of the tail, just to keep the distance in proper amount while it's drying. Later on I will change that, because I know I have the same color tail feather in the freezer, but it was not easy to go get. I will change it into the gray feather. You can see two red tail feathers sticking out. It looks actually pretty ugly right now, but I will change them to a proper color later. So anyway, I don't know if you can see it or not, but the primaries are tilted up a little bit to create the air pressure when the bird is flying. So basically, when you open the wings and study the feathers, they're all kind of like curved down when the bird is not in action. When the wing is not in flight, all the feathers are curled down. So all the primaries, on the main primaries, what I did with the wire on that cardboard, I curved them up. You will see what I'm talking about later in the video. So I made the bird dry that way to a degree, and also the curve in the tail as well. So keep grooming along while you're working. Make sure that every patches of skin is basically being placed exactly where it needs to be. And the interesting part is that if you look at some of the flying pheasant pictures up close, you will see that the air turbulence behind the back of the neck creates some of the feathers to stand up. And also in ducks too, I've noticed them in ducks too. So basically, some people think that a stretched neck of a bird in flight should be as thin as possible. Yes, but really, when you look at the reference photos, if you really want to create that air turbulence, you're gonna have to raise those feathers up a little bit. Not fluff up the whole neck, just the feathers on the back of the neck. Anyway, with a poke of a hole in that that tail butt area, I injected some caulking inside there to create a great bond. Now I'm doing the final adjustment for the wing feathers. Okay, now I'm making a couple of holes to inject some more caulking into the wing joint area to the body. First of all, that's the scapulus area. It creates a great bond and where the wing is attached to the body, and also with the feather alignment behind the neck and everything, it allows it to. So sometimes what I do, I squeeze a lot more than it's needed, and then I squeeze it out into the areas that I want. Basically, I usually go at the back of the neck where it's attached to the body. I squeeze a little bit more than I need, and then I squeeze it forward so it goes all the way to the back of the neck. Instead of trying to inject it every 2 inch, I try to minimize my number of holes that I put into the bird. And because if that caulking gets on the feathers, I'm sure some of you guys have I don't know anyone who uses caulking on the feather on the bird mounts and haven't squeezed out some on the feather. It's a mess we have to clean up, but anyway, it happens like anything else. So now we got some caulking around the neck area. As you can see, we can lay down the feathers and skin exactly the where they're supposed to be. And in that situation, with having that caulking underneath, we know that they're going to stay there and it's going to stick properly. To me, this is the most fun part of the whole bird taxidermy, just posing it around, moving the skin around, and doing the final adjustments. That's the funnest part for me. Yeah, you can see on the left wing right now when I told you that I'm basically bending the primers upward. This is what I'm talking about. And at the end, I'll show you the reason that I did that. Okay guys, we're coming to the end of this part of the video as well. I'm gonna leave you to it. There's a little bit left to watch here, and in the last segment of this video, actually I did it when the mount is totally dried out, I'm going to show you what we're doing with the wings for the final touch. Thanks for watching guys. We'll see you in the next and last episode of this series.